everyone, Makha Bucha Day has passed. For those who have gained pure merit, we would like to rejoice in your merit. Sadhu. There are some pictures that we have collected for you to see. Notice that they are not the same at all. We have pictures of the lighting of candles on March 1, 2018, which was Makha Bucha Day. We collected these pictures in DMC, so there are some differences. What is different is the color of the reflection of the candlelight. Let's observe first what makes the candlelight different. Do you see that in 2018, it was a bright, cool gold color? But yesterday's candlelight was a fiery red. It gives a completely different feeling. In terms of merit and sin, we can say that in 2018, Wat Phra Dhammakaya was still in the temple and could still give orders. He could control the merit for his children to the fullest. The Makha Bucha merit was therefore a very bright, very clean merit. The great Dhammakaya Siddhya of 1,000,000 Buddhas from the beginning of inviting merit making until the merit makers join in making merit to build the personal Buddha image until the day the pagoda is closed until the ceremony of casting each Buddha image. It is a very sacred process and there is Dhammakaya knowledge that is distilled. If you do it, see, remember, and think of those who cast and those who pour and mold it. Until even when it is enshrined, there are many rituals, which is full of sacredness, it is very meritorious. Before it is finished, it will become the magnificent great Dhammakaya pagoda, shining all over the world. Luang Por calls the great Dhammakaya pagoda the field of merit of the world, right? Therefore, the great pagoda with 1,000,000 Buddhas. From the beginning until it is finished, there is only a clean, pure process, distilled and distilled again, inviting nirvana to distill every Buddha image. And during the merit-making activities around the Dhamma Square, the distillation process of the pagoda and the distillation of the devotees until worshipping the pagoda once is equal to worshipping 1,000,000 Buddhas. It is not enough. I mean distilling the body because the 1,000,000 Buddhas on the pagoda are connected to the sense of nirvana. This is what the real experts at that time said, as Luang Por Dharma himself said. And now, if the candlelight that comes out is different, it indicates that there are impurities, there are unwholesome things, there are impure things in the entire process. And the lighting of the lamps that occur is not as bright and meritorious as it used to be. There are impurities, and the color is so red, it looks like the sinful side. It looks like something that is not meritorious. And the question is, what could cause it? It's like many clips where the dragon hides itself and lets the real experts tell the information. And then Kiantawan or Is are the ones who tell the story. In many past clips, if anyone hasn't listened to it, you have to go back and listen to all the clips. And then you will understand what really happened and why the great Dhammakaya Siddhya has become an important point that changes the elements of nature, changes the merit of this group completely. The change that causes badness is the change from a wholesome mind to an unwholesome mind, whether you realize it or not. But those things have already happened. In fact, they have also occurred in the Siddhya itself. Otherwise, the entire work would not have turned red like that. If anyone has any objections, please consider that the same old lamps and the same old ones for many years have been used the same way. We will see that the ceremony and the stage are the same in every way. If we look at the picture of 2018 and yesterday, which was 2025, there is no difference at all. But what makes the results so different is the human mind, right? In the human mind of the person who did it, every part that created the picture of yesterday, every point and everything is mixed with demerit or sin. Now, many times it has been said that there are factors that cause the true merit group to change because the leader has changed. Who is the leader? If we see who is the head monk, the leader in the sense of the elements of the Dhamma of the group, if we talk about merit and sin, then at the Dhammakaya temple, the person with the highest seniority, in worldly language, but in the language of the monks, is the highest monk. In fact, from what we have seen, O2 is the head monk. He is not a person who is the highest monk in terms of ordination. We think that O2 might be the one who was ordained after Luang Pu Dhammakaya, but we're not sure what rank Luang Na Theta is. Or if Luang Na Theta wasn't ordained before O2. It means that in order of ordination, O1 followed O2. Now, when O1 was gone, O2 became the highest monk by virtue of his merit. If we can't remember or haven't heard before, when Luang Pu Dhammakaya was ordained, he followed the group. At that time, O2 was also there, but he hadn't been ordained yet. And if anyone heard Luang Pu tell his story himself in 1966, when he met O2, he was both a layman, both students at Kasetsart University, but in different years. O2 was his senior. There's a very detailed story here. Luang Pu O1 himself told the story that it took time to overcome O2's pride and stubbornness, because O2 himself had faith in what his grandmother called black magic, which is magic. Or maybe it was a spell that could not be chanted or anything like that. When I had faith in the subject and had a teacher in that field, when I met Luang Por Dharma and talked about merit, morality, purity, and access to the Buddha within, I wanted to know how good it was to access it. How good was access to the Dhammakaya? What could I do? I tried all those subjects, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't even try to put magic on Luang Por Dharma. I hadn't even been ordained yet. But at that time, O1 had already practiced Dhamma and reached the Buddha within me firmly and steadily all the time. Therefore, it took O1, who was my junior, for O2, who was my senior, to accept it and abandon the subject that I had always believed in to follow O1 and practice Dhamma until I saw the Buddha within me, that it was real and good. It made O2 believe, respect, and have faith in O1 wholeheartedly. O2 doesn't think that he is any older than O1. Okay, before he met Grandma and became a monk, I believe that O2 must have forgotten about this. Because if O2 hadn't forgotten, today wouldn't be like this. O2, if anyone can listen, from what we've told in many previous clips, it's like accusing O2 of betraying O1 by colluding with O6, who has wrong view. Right view and wrong view are completely opposites. They definitely can't coexist. And wrong view is one of the delusions, and delusion is one of the three tools of the devil. When O1's side pursues and builds merit in order to conquer the devil, until the end of the Dhamma, just like Luang Pu Sad and Grandma Chan, O1 is on the side of the subduing merit, or the white side. So, he invited the group to build a temple to build merit so that everyone can practice Dhamma to reach the Buddha within, which is the white side, the Buddha within called Dhammakaya. Dhammakaya is Tathagata. Tathagata is Dhammakaya. Therefore, the Lord Buddha is Tathagata. The Lord Buddha is Dhammakaya. Therefore, in every human being, there is Dhammakaya and they can reach it. Even though the Tripitaka, Luang Por said that there is no mention of the method of practice to reach the Buddha within, I don't know where it has gone. But Luang Pu Sad is the one who devoted his life to sitting until he saw and reached it. He was a witness to the enlightenment of the Buddha and passed that knowledge down to Grandma Chan. Grandma Chan then passed that knowledge to Luang Por Dhammakaya until Luang Por came to build a temple and expand the practice of Dhamma with Dhammakaya knowledge to everyone in this world to prove that everyone in this world already has the Buddha within them. All that's left is to practice the principles correctly and reach it. When you reach it, you will receive happiness and prosperity because Dhammakaya has three sides. The dark side is the side of the devil, called the side of sin. If you lean towards that side, you will receive what the side of sin is good at, which is suffering, illness, disasters, etc. All of which are his work. The middle side is the gray side, which is the color. This is the color of the subtle part of the Dhammakaya. The black Dhammakaya will be black. The gray Dhammakaya will be gray. As for the Dhammakaya of Luang Pu Dhammajao and Luang Pu Ye, who said that it is the Buddha that resides in every human being, it is the white Dhammakaya or the merit side. Therefore, the Buddha in every human being will be the white Dhammakaya or the white side or the bright side. There will be no other color. It means the subtlety in the Buddha at the basic level that can be reached. Now, if anyone has an opinion that is opposite, when those who have reached the Dhammakaya have right view, those who have wrong view, which is one of the delusions of the defilements of Mara, will be on the side of the great Mara or the black side, which is the side of sin. If you understand this, you will know that whenever anyone has an opinion, thinks, or knows in a way that is opposite to right view, it is called wrong view. When it is wrong view, it means being an enemy, an opponent of the merit side because they choose to be on the side of sin. Here, I explain to make you understand the meaning of 06 after many stories have passed. It is certain that he is a heretic, and for that reason, he was expelled from the temple by Luang Pu Dhammajao, never to return since the middle of the Buddhist Lent, which was around September 2015. But at that time, no one was told that 06 had done anything wrong, but someone who observed saw that 06 was summoned to meet with 01 one day in the middle of the Buddhist Lent in 2015. And it was discovered that he had embezzled the temple's donation money that Luang Pu 01 had just raised to build the Thata Chivo Chedi in Kanchanaburi. He came to withdraw 700-800 million, and Luang Pu's finance department had not yet reported it, until Luang Pu estimated that the work must have been completed since December 2014 because he intended to build it to offer to 02 because at that time, 01 knew that 02 had accidentally made a mistake and negotiated with 06 on a matter that had genuinely good intentions. But when he proposed it to him, he went back and took the position that 02 wanted, but he was the one who wanted that instead. So 02 had to go without knowing how to argue with him. At that time, it was a matter of the credit union cooperative that had a lawsuit from Mr. Supachai, and Mr. Supachai confirmed that he had returned all the donated money that he had given to Luang Pu. There should be no lawsuit attached to Luang Pu. But during that time, Luang Pu saw the news that people reported that the cooperative was suffering because its members did not receive dividends. So he thought that he should help them a little. If they claimed that the 700 to 800 million that Mr. Supachai gave to Luang Pu was the reason that they did not receive dividends, Luang Pu thought that we could help them, not just return it, but use the money to help. But at that time, Luang Pu did not have any money, but his disciples helped. Later, someone said that it was you, and so he helped. When Luang Pu thought of it, he helped right away, and that made the cooperative not sue Luang Pu in a civil case anymore. But after some time passed, in 2014, 02 thought that Luang Pu had criticized this matter and the host paid for it. In fact, it should be the temple has money, so it should return it to the hosts so that the hosts can make other merits. But when I thought about it at that time, 06 was in the committee meeting. At that time, he was still one of the committee members. 06 disagreed and made 02 feel that 06 really shouldn't have worried about anything if the temple paid money and there was nothing left or not enough left to feed the temple people because at that time, everyone knew that 06 only had His Majesty, who had a large empire. So 02 joked that if he was worried that the temple would not have enough money left to feed the temple people, how about this? After paying back the money to the cooperative, whatever money is left in the temple's central fund, we'll divide it in half. Then, His Majesty took half and went to build his empire. Don't worry about the big temple. Don't worry. We'll take care of it ourselves. That is, 02 will take care of it ourselves. At that time, 02 had a lot of faith in 01. You could say that in my heart. I knew what kind of person O6 was, so I wanted him to go at this time. I wanted to seize the opportunity to let O6 go, since he already had his own empire. Why would he be worried? At the big temple, O2 thought that he would give O6 a lump sum of money so that he wouldn't have to worry about this. But O2 didn't expect that O6 would immediately come back and claim this condition that if the remaining amount was paid, he could split it in half. But he asked to stay in the big temple and let O2 be the one to leave the temple and find a place to build his own empire with half of the money. When he was hit back like this, how would O2 continue? It can be said that he didn't understand him, so O2 couldn't say anything more because when O6 saw a way to take over the temple, he wanted it anyway. So he said that he would choose to stay in the half at Wat Dhammakaya. O2 had to be the one to leave. O2 never thought about leaving the temple because Phakti had always followed O1. Throughout his life, he never thought of going anywhere. So when he was hit back like this, he never built an empire anywhere because he was almost retired. No, retirement. Retirement is 60, right? Closer to 75 years, which is the average lifespan of a human being. So, O2 couldn't do anything except sit and worry. And at that time, the host brought a rich foreigner to visit. He said that he had heard news about the temple in the cooperative matter. He had some money, but he wanted to get to know the senior monks in the temple first to know what's what or to meet him first. So the host brought him, but at that time, he had to bring him to meet O2 first because in the rough matters, O1 had assigned O2 to be the one to take care of everything on his behalf because he trusted him. And O1 would be able to do only the details. But in terms of various policies, O1 still had to be the one to decide. So when there were guests visiting, he didn't have to have O1 meet them. It was O2 meeting them, but it was probably a matter of good karma. How can I say it? Because the host ran into O2. O2 saw his face. He didn't remember the name. He just remembered the face. It was like he wanted to talk to someone but didn't know who to talk to. When the host said, "Bring this person," the millionaire heard the news and wanted to help with the temple's finances if necessary, so he asked to meet the abbot first, so he brought him to meet the deputy abbot. He immediately said that this happened in the meeting. There were conflicts like this. He thought like this, the meeting did not agree. So he thought that those who disagreed must be worried about the finances, that the temple would not survive. If the money was paid, there would not be enough left to support the temple. He thought that they were afraid of this, so he decided to say, "Oh, don't worry, you already have your own place, so we paid from the central fund. How much is left, we will divide it in half. And if you use it to build your empire, you will not worry anymore." He thought simply, but he did not expect that he would take this, and it made him unable to continue. He did not know what to do next, and this information came out to his close friends, and the person who knew the truth knew about this and reached us. So we thought that this was the reason why O2 did not know O6, since then only O2 did not know what to do, and the fact that he knew about it reached the person who knew the truth. And automatically knew O1 because if you already have Dhammakaya knowledge, and you promised the people in the inner region that you would not use Dhammakaya knowledge to overlap the body or draw the mind into dreams to give orders or anything like that because the inner region already has a hierarchy of orders through the head. Roughly, they can meet each other anyway, so you don't have to waste merit there. But you also use Dhammakaya knowledge with the people in the outer region. Otherwise, how could the work of the religion be accomplished so widely and for so long? So you normally use Dhammakaya knowledge. You will insert your clairvoyance to look at people who respect and worship you. People who practice Dhamma, respect and believe in you, and you know that. You know this from O2 talking to the host, and it finally reached us. O1, you thought that when O2 went to give his word to them, and it seemed that there were people of merit who were in the group that they called '06 the Worm at that time, the Worm. The group of monks who were in the same group as '06, there were still people who sneaked in to be spies. Because I wanted to know the truth, whether he was really bad, what he was thinking. And then the story reached the person who knew the truth that '02 had already signed, giving the power to manage the temple to '06. It was like '02 didn't know what to do when he asked what they had agreed on at that time, whether to help the cooperative or not. If he wanted to help, he had to sign giving the power first. Then '02 signed it. Once he signed it, it became that '02 was bound that within 1 year he would have to move out of the main temple. But during the period when '02 did not know where to go, '02 sometimes talked with the housekeeper and the host who came to pay respect. It reached '01's insight. So '01 came to ask the relatives and devotees to build a kingdom for '02 immediately. They raised funds and urged them to finish it within 3 months. It had to be completed before '02's birthday, which was December 21, 2014. They said that it had to be completed so that '02 could go live there on that birthday. It was also the year that AEC was opened. Kanchanaburi is a border city on the western side. Therefore, due to the kindness that '02 had for the group, '01 respected him throughout his life from the very beginning until 2014. '02 had never done anything wrong or betrayed '01. In addition, he dedicated his life for '01. You could say that he respected and believed in him with all his heart. No matter what '01 said, even though he could not keep up, he was happy to follow and was ready to follow. As in this clip, the images that we have compiled for you to see also reflect the time when '01 came to be the head monk on a meditation day and the camera captured '02 standing to receive '01 inside. '02 would smile adorably because '02 loved '01. '02 loved '01 so much that his smile would always be on his face. Especially when he met '01, he would be even happier. He would not be able to control his expression. The happiness that came out on his face showed how much he loved Luangpur '01. And because he waited for Luangpur '01 to walk by, he would follow him wholeheartedly. That image, it was '02's willingness. Before 2014, there was never a time when Luangpur '02 would show off or be stubborn with '01. Now, when Luangpur '01 asked for donations to build a pagoda, the fundraising was successful in a large amount within 3 months. And it was expected that the construction would definitely be completed by December 2014. Luangpur '01 didn't go to check anything, thinking that the money was already there and the team could build it without any difficulty, like withdrawing and giving everything. It went by until 2015. He must have been surprised that '02 was still at the temple, and he didn't know what the pagoda in Kanchanaburi was like anymore. So he asked and received a report that there was no money to build and that construction had stopped for a long time. So why did construction stop? So he had to call '06 because it was reported that Phra Maha Dr. Somchai was the one who withdrew the money, saying that he would return it to the sponsors who helped with the cooperative when Luangpur wanted help with the dividends. The sponsors had already helped, but no sponsors received the money that '06 withdrew. Where did the money go? So '01 called '06 to ask. There was an observer who didn't show up. He said that he saw and heard that '01 asked '06 where the money went, what was it for, and who was it given to. He didn't answer at all. The expressionless face remained silent, making '01 not know what to do. When '06 was like a stubborn criminal, taking the money, insisting, not denying that he didn't take it. Meaning he really took it but refused to say where he took it or who he gave it to. 700 million, that's about it. That made '01 decide to tell '06 to leave the temple far away, not to come back. The reason was that if he insisted on staying, he would have to take it again because when someone doesn't admit where they took the money or who they gave it to, It means they won't say what they did wrong and won't admit that it was their fault for taking the money, not apologizing, not knowing that they did something wrong. People who don't know that they did something wrong in this matter, even though Luang Por always teaches, the money donated by relatives and devotees in each event is for that merit only. When they get the money, they have to use it for that purpose only. They can't use it for other things. For example, that event, the 700 million was used to build a pagoda in Kanchanaburi. When O6 falsely claimed it and withdrew it, it was a lie and a lie to embezzle donated money, which is a crime of 2 counts. That is, breaking the 4th precept, lying, breaking the 2nd precept, which is stealing. As far as we have heard the sermon from O1, O1 said that the Lord Buddha once preached that whoever breaks the 4th precept, lying, can break every precept. So when O6, lying, withdrew the money, it is a theft and still did not admit it, did not say where he took it, who he gave it to, why he took it, but did not deny that he took it. It is a perpetrator like a stubborn criminal. But O1 did not want to do something that would be a new karma for him. That is, if he ordered him to disrobe, announcing that he had done something wrong, it would be like shaming him, which would have consequences. So he chose a method to let him go, leave the temple, so that it would not happen again and prevent him from doing something else. People who do not know what they have done wrong and do not admit their mistakes will do it again when they have the chance. And the money of our group that Luang Por manages is all big projects. It is equal to risking losing even more money. But from what we know, it is not just embezzling money to build a pagoda for Luang Por O2. O6 has a habit of withdrawing money. The temple's central fund is already there. In the temple's finances, a fellow monk told each other that O6 likes to come and borrow money from the temple's central fund to help Cao Q and said that when the Phapa is won, he will return the money. But he never returns it and has asked for it time and time again. So the finance officer will not know what to do, if not allowed to withdraw. He is afraid and considerate because he has promised so much that this time, he will definitely get it, this time, when the Fathan is won, he will bring it this time and so on. But if anyone has been to Cao Q, they will know that there is a lot of extravagance and luxury in a meeting room. There are many air conditioners turned off. The decoration is unusual for a meeting room in a temple. I don't know what it is for. It's like a show of pride. The lamps and other things are very elaborate, so it shows his personality. He doesn't know what he is doing or not doing, but he still thinks that what he is doing is not wrong. This is called wrong view or having the personality of a bad person. If it is a kindergarten student at Dream Vidya school, you must have heard the monk have Nong Achai teach bad people, which are people who think badly, speak badly, and do badly regularly. Therefore, people who are bad people cannot be friends with them because it is in line with the 38 auspicious things in life. O2 is the one who preached that the first auspicious thing is not to be friends with bad people. O2 preached this all along, which was before 2014. His sermons were firm, clear, and very logical. It is unbelievable that everything after 2015, the incident in which O1 ordered O6 to be expelled from the temple and not to return, happened in September 2015 without O1 telling anyone why he was expelled. It was to let him consider himself. But at least he would not be involved in withdrawing donations anymore because he would continue to sin. However, according to the information from the person who truly knew the truth and came to tell us, O6 in the center of his body, O1 saw that the center of his body was completely black, which meant he was on the side of sin. Sin that could not be reversed, sin that could not be purified, could not be purified, could not be solved, which meant he had chosen the path of sin in this life. Without knowing what he did, why did he have to commit such a sinful act? But O1 probably knew. But he didn't say anything because if he said anything, it would be like verbal karma, like slander. But he didn't let him come and harass his children, not come and disturb, not make the group suffer. But O1 really didn't know that even though O1 did it for O2 in that event to build a pagoda in Kanchanaburi for O2. Because O2 gave the power to manage the temple to O6 already, when O1 chased O6 out of the temple, it meant that O6 no longer had the right to the power to manage the temple. So it became a matter of O2 still having to perform the duties of managing the temple as usual because O6 wasn't there, but it was like O2 didn't know the truth that. What did O6 do that made O1 chase him away? But what we saw later made us feel hurt for O1. There was an event at the Dhammakaya temple during the birthday of His Majesty King Rama IX in 2015. It was an event where fans of rank and title were given to monks. This was when Luangpur Wat Racha Oros received the position of Phra Maha Bodhi in 2014. But the ceremony that was given at the temple was in 2015. Then, the ceremony was given to appoint one monk. That is, O6 was able to come and receive the fans of rank and title. What does that mean? It means that O2 found a way to help by talking to Luangpur Wat Racha Oros to accept the appointment of O6 so that he could use him and then he would be able to return. When we saw that image that was recorded in the DMC channel, we suddenly understood why O2 helped O6, when doing so was tantamount to directly betraying or discrediting O1. That is, not accepting O1 sending O6 away and not letting him come back. And O2 was the one who found a way to help O6 come back. Which was only 3 months from the date he sent him away to the date he came back. But the important thing is that O1 didn't know why O2 found a way to help O6 come back. Even though everything O1 did was for O2. The fundraising was to build a pagoda so that O2 would have a kingdom to go to because O2 was tricked by O6 and had to sign over the power to manage the temple to O6. But the fact that O1 sent O6 away because he had blatantly done something wrong was right. But O2 didn't know about it and still helped him come back. It turned out that O1 was doing good deeds but receiving punishments. If we look back at the present time, and it shows that O2 has no loyalty to O1 at all. O2 didn't see everything that O1 did for him, and didn't know that O1 really had sixth sense. Why didn't O2 think that O1 would suddenly build an empire for O2? Why would he build a pagoda to honor him like that? And he was so pleased to death. But when O6 was chased away and not allowed to come back, O2 found a way to help O6 come back. And it's certain that O2's thoughts at that time must have been brainwashed by O6 by saying good and bad things about O1. It's just like what was said that when he had wrong views, what he thought, said and did must be the opposite of O1. When he talked to O2, he must have said the opposite of what O1 really was. And he knew how to make O2 believe him. And O2 wouldn't understand that he was being tricked again. He had been tricked once. He had already given the temple to him once. The abbot took it back and chased him away. He himself went and got him back again. But we've seen O2's approach more recently. And then the words from the people who talked about O2 on his birthday last year, December 21st, 2024. We finally understood O2 again, that there were personal reasons that seemed to be holding him back, and that made him unable to make a clear decision. Unable to distinguish whether he should or should not do it, and importantly, his personal ego told us that all the time he followed O1 for many years, from 1966 when we knew each other until 2014. Which is 48 years, almost 50 years, it didn't make O2's stubbornness disappear. It was just him keeping it to himself and not telling anyone. That's why when O6 came to hit the nail on the head and spoke in a language that we could guess what a bad person would say in order to make people help themselves, when they did something wrong. They didn't say that they did something wrong, or they might tell a little bit but not tell the whole truth and let them think that they were good, but they said something like they were pitiful. That O1 didn't like them, and did everything they didn't like. And then it made O2 feel pity and want to help. Another stubbornness is wanting to win. Wanting to be superior to others or prove that if I can take this person down, I will be considered great. And people like O6 who graduated with a doctorate. O2 always thought that people who graduated with a doctorate were more intelligent than those who did not even graduate with a doctorate. They could not compete with them. But when you want to use them, you have to be good to them, be kind to them when they are in trouble. If we can help them, they will be grateful to us and they will listen to us. This is the thought that we explained in our own mind after looking at the path and the results that have happened up until today. This is the identity of O2. It can be explained like this. And even more so because someone spoke, who was the monk's secretary, on his birthday last year, telling him what kind of person he was, telling him what he had prayed to Luang Pu about that thought. Which Grandma Chan walked by and knew with her sixth sense. Grandma Chan even walked over and patted Luang Pu O2 on the shoulder and asked, "Are you really going to do that?" Because she heard Luang Pu O2 praying in her mind, saying something like this. In meaning, it was asking for him to be able to subdue people who others could not take down. Asking him to take care of them. Please preach, manage that person so that she will be submissive to you. Please do it. Simply put, whoever is too much for others to handle, I will handle it myself. Let me be the one to handle it. This story makes it understandable that O2 himself also thought that if O1 didn't want O6 anymore, it meant that he couldn't be taught. It would be according to O2's prayer. So he thought that this was our merit, we must take care of it. So he used his wisdom to think of how to win this person's heart. But all he could think of was to be nice to him. Give him whatever he wanted. At least we could meet halfway in each matter so that it wouldn't be so bad. He probably thought that way, so it became the result that came out as it is today. While O2 chose to manage O6, it turned out that she unknowingly kept company with bad people. As she kept company, in the end, what should we say? Natural instinct? Transnational instinct? That O2 likes to say natural instinct, it was in him who used to be a bad person. It flared up because at that time, there was no good explanation. I thought it was because I had a condition that I had prayed for, so I had to let it go and get tricked by him. But today I came across a sermon from O2. O2 told it himself. On January 5, 2025, the Kla Tawan page posted this. I came to read here. There is a 100% answer as to why O2 is like this today. What is happening with Wat Phra Dhammakaya? Which was actually started by Luang Por Dhammajayo. What is happening with Luang Por's group that is becoming O2's? But O2 is no longer following Luang Por O1. O2 has become the same group as O6. There is an explanation. The answer is being friends with elements. It is O2's own sermon. I will read it for you. Being friends with elements, people can be friends with elements. Listen carefully. When we study the word element, most of us only know about iron, copper, carbon, and oxygen. But in terms of elements, the Lord Buddha divided them deeper than we know. The element of greed, the element of anger, the element of delusion, the element of jealousy, the element of wisdom, the element of faith. He divided them in such detail that he divided them to the elements in our hearts. So what happened? In short, people can be friends according to the standards of their own personalities. If the standards of their personalities are different, they cannot be friends. If I say this, you may not understand. Let me give you an example. One day, Anathapindika, who was the treasury of Buddhism in that era, visited the Buddha early in the morning and the Buddha pointed it out. Did the rich man see Sariputta? Yes, your majesty. He was the wisest among all the arahants. Did you see the 400 to 500 monks following him? Yes, those 400 to 500 monks were as wise as Sariputta. And they were in his group. Did you see Moggallana? Yes, he had great powers and was skilled in flying. Did you see the 400 to 500 monks following him? Yes, they liked flying in the same way. Did you see Mahakassapa? Yes, he might not have much wisdom or power, but he was a wanderer. Did you see the ones following him? They were all the same type, wanderers. Did you see Anuruddha? Yes. He had divine ears and divine eyes, all of whom were divine ears and divine eyes. He went on until he reached Devadatta. Did you see Devadatta? Yes, he was just as greedy. Jealous like that. Even after becoming a monk, it is still like that, still can't fix it. And those who follow behind, see, 400 to 500, remember, all the same, are the same element. Then he concluded, humans associate with each other by element. If summarized, it means that humans associate with each other by temperament. If the temperament is not the same, they will not go together. No matter what you do, they will not go together. People have the standard Thai temperament. If they are not similar, you cannot associate with them. Before we got to where we are today, we have had many friends. Look at the female and male friends we have. If the temperament is not similar, we can associate with each other for a while, then each of them goes their separate ways. Only those who are similar remain. The same goes for the commander. If the temperament is not similar, there are two things: thinking only when to move, then run away. Or, the subordinates are not up to standard, when will they move? But if the temperament is the same, then it is worth working with. July 24, 2006. This is the sermon of O2 in 2006. The temperament of people, the association of people. O2 has said before, the temperament is not the same, likes are not the same. They can't get along, they don't go together. And you're saying that before, O2 and O1 couldn't get along either. But they gave up because O1 was superior in terms of morality, knowledge, and the Dhammakaya knowledge and inner morality. The pure Dhamma elements won over everything and he accepted it, especially Dhamma. But in 2015, as we've already told you, when O1 chased O6 out of the temple, it meant they couldn't get along. Which means O1 and O6 are on opposite sides, opposite poles. When everyone is certain that O1 is definitely on the good side, it means that O6 must definitely be on the bad side. They couldn't be together, so they had to be chased away, right? Then suddenly 3 months later, O2 went to give O6 a chance to come back. What does this indicate? Does this mean that during those 3 months, how much did O2 have to talk with O6 to make O6 see wrong as right, see sin as better than merit, see a bad person like O6 as better than O1? To the point of finding a way to help him come back? You only see his work as a doctor? Is that right, everyone? From this sermon, O2 said it himself, for a person to be with someone, they must have the same temperament in order to get along. Only people of the same group can get along. Now it's very clear that O2 chose to create a path for O6 to come back. Does that mean O2 wanted to choose to be with O6? And is it because they have the same element? The same temperament? Do they like the same things so they can be with each other? And were they together for more than O1? If comparing the time period, O2 was together with O1 from 1966 until 2015. It's almost 50 full years. But O2 all of a sudden went with O6 for only 3 months and arranged a time for him to come back. And it was a direct betrayal of O1. She lacked the common sense to see that she was doing something wrong to O1. Because O1 had to have a reason for sending him away. But O2 chose not to ask O1, didn't ask O1, didn't tell O1. And then went and did this. and made O6 come back with people to hold up and worship even though he had done something wrong like a thief and there was no return of the money. He still took what was taken. He was still a criminal, but why didn't O2 know about this? Don't you have to make him take responsibility for this? It shows that, from the information, this sermon means that O2 has the same nature as O6, right? Are they both bad people? Oh, that's right. Before meeting Luang Por, O1 was like that. And because it was like that, it was the old element that was trying to suppress it, trying to keep it away. But it shows that when he met someone who had the old element, who was also a bad person, and they got to know each other, the attraction came back, right? So it shows that since that day in December 2015 until this year, 2025, almost 10 years, the relationship between O2 and O6 has been smooth, based on the power of the merit and virtue that O1 had built up. But because of the position that was sitting instead of O1, it's unbelievable that it's the same O2 who O1 had been honoring for almost 50 years. Because if it was that person, there must be a sense of conscience, a sense of remorse and shame, especially for doing the worst thing. Which was not closing the case for Luang Por. O1 as agreed to give the truth to O1, and there was a chance that he could do it. During the period when the prosecutor said not to sue and to come to close the case for O1 within 180 days from October 2023, it means that O1 has the opportunity to be freed from all the lawsuits until April 2024 at the latest. He must be released. When Luang Phi Rak asked for merit to build the 80th anniversary building in 2022, Dhamma Chai Day, he said that in 2024, the 80th birthday of Luang Por, he would be freed. Those were the words that the host knew at that time. But then, why didn't he come out? Why didn't anyone tell him? But there was news from Nose Joe that the host went to see Luang Por O2 in March 2024 to ponder whether Luang Por O1's birthday would be released in April. He heard the answer that he probably wouldn't be released. Then he pondered as if he didn't have to wait to be asked why. O2 just said it himself. That he wouldn't let me stay. He wanted me to go live somewhere else. He accused me of playing the stock market. The host memorized those 3 sentences. This is the explanation of the reason why O2 was the one who decided not to let O1 out. At that time, we didn't know why O2 had the authority to decide and let O1 out. We only found out later that O2 would be the only one responsible for O1's case. Because he promised O1 when he was still loyal to O1. Who would have thought that in less than 7 years, O2 would have changed? He became someone who didn't value O1, didn't see the benefit of letting O1 out when he was innocent. Who would have thought that just those 3 reasons alone would make O2 decide not to close the case for O1 and didn't see what the result would be? Not allowing O1, who was innocent, to be released from the restriction of his freedom due to a case he didn't commit is equal to O2 immediately becoming someone who has committed a heavy sin against O1. Because the prosecutor had already let go and didn't pursue the case, but O2 was the one who intentionally imprisoned O1 so that he couldn't come out to see his children again. The reason was that he was afraid that if he was released, he would be chased away from there because he played the stock market. Listening to the reason, it doesn't make sense because O1 is not that kind of person, but the fact that O2 concluded like that means that O2 already believed it, with O6 being the one who kept whispering it. And it also shows that O6 was the one who gave the reason that O6 was chased out of the temple at that time because O6 was playing the stock market, right? But he didn't tell the truth that he stole money from the monk O1 to play the stock market. Who would say something bad like that? But O2 believed O6. Is this because they are the same kind of person? And the result of the decision at that time was equal to cutting off O1's chance to have freedom for the rest of his life? Freedom that is dignified and unblemished. Why? If we wait for the litigation to expire on its own, which we don't know if in 2 or 5 years, but when it waits to expire on its own, it means that O1 wasn't convicted, but fled the case until it expired and then came back. It is putting a stain on O1. The question is it the O1 that O2 should know best? Why has O2 forgotten everything? Because O2 is associating with O6, who is also a bad person, right? If a group following a leader like this goes where? What happened since O1 was gone and O1 was seized power to order everything? That's why O2 was able to live happily while people still understood that O2 was still one of O1's people. But in fact O2 had been helping O6 since 2015. It was O1 trusting O2 who ended up being the one who betrayed O1 himself, which O1 definitely never thought of before. And the results that happened since then, at the end of 2018. There was an order that was like a sermon from O1, but it was signed by someone. It turned out that later it was found out that he didn't let his name be called because that person was a higher up. Kumari didn't like hearing the name of Luang Por Dhammakaya and ordered to remove all images of Luang Por from sight from the temple. That person was Kumari. At that time, no one believed it. But today at the event Progressive Dharma, giving a shield, he appeared and came in full image, took all the credit just by visiting the exhibition once. But he took everything from the temple to be his and the activity took place in Glass Room 2. Which I have already said that the golden Buddha statue with black hair like this is not the style of Luang Por O1. Now the answer is his style and then made the group use that room by dragon overlapping the body. O1 said that the style of Dhammakaya, the black hair belongs to the monks of the black side. If that's the case, then it means that everyone went to make merit in that room. It's like giving all the merit to him and receiving sin in return. It's like throwing away all the merit to take sin. It's a huge loss since giving the lamp and giving all the merit that is the restoration of world morality, giving the world Pek's shield, etc. All the merit of Luang Por O1 was sent to him who sat and took advantage and took 70% of the donation money as reported in the news from the New Believers group. It's actually true. Does everyone see clearly that dragon overlapping the body didn't lie at all? It's all true. Do you remember when we started with the picture of the pagoda with a lamplit? Compare the atmosphere of this year with 2018. Why the color is red? It's because it is the sinful side. And for this reason, for many days, we have only heard signals to chant Metta Apamanya sent from the Dragon O1 through the knower. In fact, it is because everything has been made to be sinful. Lighting lamps, it is a sinful lamp. Making merit, everything is sinful. Because of him. But the group doesn't know that behind the scenes there is to pay tribute to the Kumari. And the deception that came out through the new devotee group, claiming that O1 had made amends for his past karma, and decided to give the temple and branch center to the Kumari above. And O1 agreed to divide the donated assets 70 to 30. That happened. The news came out from the new devotee group around October 2021. That was 4 years ago. This year is the 4th year. Ask if they had planned it since the end of 2018 after seizing power and giving orders from Luang Por O1. And they even ganged up to blame O1, claiming that they were following O1's policy. But they were corrupt in every department. The Anti-Money Laundering Office, AMLO, also found that 6 monks, including O2, had committed crimes, making it 7 monks. Then, O6 advised the monks that implicating O1 alone, making O1 take responsibility alone, being certain that with the Dhammakaya method, O1 would be able to escape being tracked down and caught if he didn't let them be caught. They wouldn't be found. Therefore, they would only be able to escape if they implicated O1 alone, and it became an opinion that all the monks agreed with and didn't damage the temple's reputation. However, the officials had to keep all the monks as witnesses, and they had to pay for their protection. From what I know, it was 100 million baht per monk. How much did 7 monks cost? That's why they invited people to donate the gold plates for the New Year's Day of 2019. They raised a huge amount of money until they had enough money to pay. Therefore, they prepared a plan to search the temple again to arrest O1 because he was the mastermind behind the embezzlement. However, O1 knew with his premonition. So he sent evidence to O6 that O1 had already decided to leave the temple since February 2, 2019. There was no need to bring officials to search the temple anymore. And O1 didn't say that he gave the temple to him, and he didn't say anything. He just said that they didn't have to take over the temple anymore. Don't search the temple because you know that they have a plan that this time, whether they find O1 or not, they will close the temple and chase everyone out so that they can take the treasures from the temple to share according to the benefits that have been agreed upon. This is an evil that no one knows. But O1 told the hidden dragon to the one who knows the truth to tell Kyongtawan to tell everyone, but they blocked and prevented everyone from knowing. And now, what is it like? Today, it is clearest that she really came. She took over the temple and seized our group's money. She didn't let anyone know. It was a great sin. Because of the sin, she built a principal Buddha image like that, which is a Buddha on the side of the devil. She gave all the merit to the devil. Everyone gave all the merit to the devil. The candles that were lit to worship the Buddha on Makha Bucha Day yesterday became a pagoda that belonged to the dark side. That's why it sparkled red like that, everyone. This is the clearest explanation. If you want to say that it's not detailed and you can't see it, look at the picture. Let's see that the comparative picture in the bright light is merit. The one that was lit will be a cool gold color that brightens the eyes. But this year it has become a color with red sparkles. It's like hellfire, everyone. It is the result of sin. And everyone who lit it there is the host of the candles that were offered in the glass room too, right? So it belongs to the sin side, right? Everyone has thrown away all their merit and gone to sin without realizing it. Whenever they go to light candles in the Dharma area, they all become sinful Dharma candles. Do you understand now? Why did it turn out to be a red picture compared to 2018? It's a completely different story. This is not slander, everyone. This is the proven truth. It's like this. If you don't believe it, I don't know what to say. But one thing is for sure. Everyone who doesn't believe this has thrown away all their merit and just received a lot of great sin. What will the sin do? The sin will cause suffering and illness. So if anything happens to you personally, please know that it is a result of this. And if the whole country and the world still make offerings to the king, oh my, what will happen to Thailand? Now the dragon has sent a signal that from now on, you and I will be together in a dream that is like an electric current. That is, he will not come back. It's over, everyone. We must help take care of ourselves with merit. Those who are not lost, stay together. As for those who are lost, if you can help them know. If you can't help, then let them go. On Makha Bucha Day yesterday, those who are not lost and followed the principles of the teachings were able to control their merit and gain merit. As for those who are still lost, not knowing the story of the hidden dragon, they must have sinned. Who can help them? But O1 can't help them anymore. He has no more merit for his children. He even saw his children who used to be children of the psychic power. He still didn't see anything unusual. They still came to make merit even though it wasn't merit anymore. It shows that they neglected the Dharma within. They couldn't connect with O1's center of body. So they didn't know or see anything. They were completely overwhelmed by delusion. It was a defeat that he didn't know what to do now. He could only say that he had to leave. For those who still remember him and aren't in delusion, follow the principles he taught. Forget all the past mistakes. Don't commit any more sins. Accumulate all merit and don't let it run out. Practice Dhamma to reach the Dhammakaya in this life. As for the temple, you don't have to come anymore because there's no more merit left. The only thing left is the merit of offering rice to the Buddha on the first Sunday of the month. If you still have enough power of pure heart and white mind, you may still be able to help control the merit and invite the great revered teacher to refine everyone again. Then you may be able to get your bearings again. But during that 1 month, everyone must help tell this truth. Then you will have a chance to think of your merit by reviewing your past merit. As for those who just found out the truth that the group was led to evil and sinful paths and feel angry, please forgive them. Forgive yourself. Forgive the group. Forgive those who have done wrong. Listen to the chanting of loving kindness and compassion repeatedly to prevent holding grudges and feelings of resentment. Because whoever does something bad will receive the results of that bad karma. We try to stop doing bad things by inviting everyone to know the truth. We do as much as we can. Whoever helps will gain merit in making people return to having right view once again. It will be great merit. But if you don't have enough strength, go take care of yourself to survive safely. There is only merit, and reach the Dhammakaya as the main principle. Take care of yourself to survive. At least when you go back to Dusit, you will meet each other. And those who are not lost when thinking of Luangpur Dhamma will definitely think of him. So don't worry, the great revered teacher is with Luangpur. And everyone who is not lost when thinking of Luang Pho One, everyone's thoughts go to One. Therefore, if you do not associate with evil people, if you can help your friends, then tell them the truth, give them information like we listen to them. And when they have the opportunity to make merit, they will accept and understand it themselves. But from now on, the merit side of Dhammakaya will not have the power to fight them. If Luangpur's children do not return to the white merit side, meaning they are not aware of it, they will make merit and then abandon the merit to take sin. They will make merit once a month by offering rice to the Buddha, and then abandon the merit to take sin again. There are only sinful works up to the World Protection Day. The work at the pagoda is all the work of that side. They do it so that they will have money to pay tribute and get what they want. They do not take any merit at all. Therefore, it is a sinful matter that the children do not know anything about. That is what Luangpur One regrets and regrets but cannot do anything about. All we can do is rely on us, the messengers. We can only send messages and spread loving kindness. We do not want to create enemies. We cannot obstruct them, but they should give everyone the opportunity to have the right to choose whether to choose them or choose merit. It is fair. Therefore, everyone has the right to choose. It depends on everyone's karma to strive to get it. We would like to support you to let us send messages according to the truth like this. We don't intend to be enemies with anyone. We don't come to expose or expose anyone. But when you dare to do anything that we have told you, it is all true, so you don't deny it. It is something that you admit that you have done. Now, which side will the temple accept? Will the temple keep closing their eyes and ears and committing sins with them, believing that they are still with the abbot, the grandparents, and praying according to O2 on Makha Bucha Day yesterday, the ultimate Dharma that O2 spoke about? It is not the white Dharma anymore, everyone. It is the dark Dharma. Without knowing, they lead like ignorant people, blind people leading blind people. Where will they go? If they can't see anything, they will go to the dark place. Luangpur One feels sorry but doesn't know what to do. Everyone, we have tried to tell you. We have to let everyone's merit open the way. He doesn't have the power to help anyone. As for the children who are not lost, he should spread loving kindness as much as possible. Because if there is any disaster that he cannot solve, it will be according to the fortune teller's prophecies. If there is no karma, no hatred, no one will attract it. Everyone will be safe. We can only tell you his message like this. With good wishes, we bring all the merit to everyone. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. If there is any news, we will send it again. Follow and listen on YouTube, everyone. Whoever comes to listen later, go back and listen to the clips from the beginning. The first clips were made in June of last year. And for some things, if you don't understand them very well, go read on Kyantawan Su Sup Dam's Facebook. Search and go back and read as you go. I guarantee that there are every story. Good luck to everyone.
พระอริยเจ้าทั้งปวงปุถุชนทั้งปวงเทวดาทั้งปวงมนุษย์ทั้งปวงสัตว์นรกเปรตอสุรกายทั้งปวงจงเป็นผู้ปราศจากเวรปราศจากการพยาบาทเบียดเบียนปราศจากความทุกข์กายทุกข์ใจมีแต่ความสุขรักษาตนให้พ้นจากความทุกข์อย่าได้พลัดพรากจากสมบัติที่ได้มาแล้วขอให้สัตว์ทั้งหลายที่มีกรรมเป็นของตนที่อยู่สูงขึ้นไปจนถึงภวัคคพรหมที่อยู่ล่างลงไปจนถึงอเวจีมหานรกในจักรวาลโดยรอบที่ท่องเที่ยวไปบนแผ่นดินจงปราศจากการพยาบาทเบียดเบียนปราศจากเวรปราศจากทุกข์และอุปัฏฐวันตรายขอให้สัตว์ทั้งหลายที่อยู่สูงขึ้นไปจนถึงภวัคคพรหมที่อยู่ล่างลงไปจนถึงอเวจีมหานรกในจักรวาลโดยรอบที่ท่องเที่ยวไปในน้ำจงปราศจากการพยาบาทเบียดเบียนปราศจากเวรปราศจากความทุกข์และอุปัฏฐวันตรายขอให้สัตว์ทั้งหลายที่อยู่สูงขึ้นไปจนถึงภวัคคพรหมที่อยู่ล่างลงไปจนถึงอเวจีมหานรกในจักรวาลโดยรอบที่ท่องเที่ยวไปในอากาศจงปราศจากการพยาบาทเบียดเบียนปราศจากเวรปราศจากทุกข์และอุปัฏฐวันตรายทั้งสิ้นเถิด